Hi, welcome back to Chapter 6. The leaves are really changing colors now. I'm so used to green everything, and now everything is brown and yellows. The nuts and acorns on the trees in my forest are falling, and my family has decided today we would take our buckets out to see what there is to harvest. I'm not sure what we're going to be picking up, but it looks like it's going to be fun. The air is cool. The squirrels are going wild all over the forest, jumping and talking squirrel talk in the treetops, while my family and I are out walking around. So many new smells are everywhere. It seems with this cold air, everything has a different smell than it did before. It is so much fun to hike and smell around. I can see a rabbit ahead of me. It is hiding beneath a little gooseberry bush. I go into stealth mode and lower my body close to the ground and creep really slow, getting almost right up to it. I know it sees me. It has to, because it is looking right at me with the one eye on the side of its head towards me. I jump up, charge, and the rabbit takes off just as fast. We are racing and swerving and running in circles around bushes and dodging trees. I'm getting closer, and then the rabbit speeds up and leaves me way behind. I stop running and try to catch my breath. I can hear Dad's voice as he and Joe are laughing about something. I should go find out what is so funny. Maybe he saw that rabbit win the race. Maybe it is something else they are finding so funny. I think I will need to trot over there and find out. I start out and see a nice deer trail to follow. It seems to be going in the general direction of my humans, so this will be fun to follow. There are a few leaves falling that is landing on my back as I trot along, and it feels like I'm wearing a little blanket. A large stick is in my way on the path, so just for fun, I pick it up and drag it along. It is so long, it whacks into the brush growing along each side of the path. It is so nice out here today, I don't even mind the noisy squirrels overhead. I eventually get to my family, who are loading up the buckets into the quad. You got here just in time, Molly. Our buckets are full, and it's time to head home for something to eat. Jump in. Joe is calling me from the back of the gator, so I drop my stick by Dad's feet and jump in the gator. When we are all in the house, it is nice and warm, so I find a sunny spot on the floor and stretch out. I'm just too tired to wonder if anyone is going to do something fun, and I might miss it. I really want a nice, long nap. I hear Dad lay on the couch, and Mama's on the other couch, while Joe snuggles with a blanket on the soft floor. Someone has turned on the TV, and that is when I fall asleep. Dad is home the next day, too, and we take the tractor and drive to the tree in the cow pasture that grows apples. Cow and little cow stand watching us, hoping someone will drop an apple for them. They are all being carefully put into the buckets, though, and when all the buckets are full, we head for home and take the buckets into the food room. Mom does something with the apples and then gives them to Dad, and he does something and gives some to Joe, and he eats it. I seem to be left out of this process, so I just go find my sunny spot by the big windows and lay there to watch the evening come in. I like to lay and look out the windows when it is cold outside. My hair is short, so it isn't very warm, but it does get thick and furry. As I lay on the soft floor, I start to get sleepy. It is getting darker out. I am warm and on a soft floor. My family is talking and laughing and safe behind me in the food room. I lay here watching the evening slowly come, and I notice movement way down below the shed next to the house. I see a gray cat moving in the brush by the very edge of the lawn. I've never seen a gray cat around here before. Maybe it is a new friend of Ma Cat in the barn. We fooled it, though, because the barn and the coop are all locked up for the night. Visiting hours are over for the day. I lay and watched it when suddenly it dawns on me, that's a pretty big cat. I sat up and studied it. Dad could see me from where he was in the kitchen, and he stopped talking. I turned around to look at him over my shoulder, and he was watching me. I looked back out the window, and the cat was now by the shed by the house. It was actually coming towards me. It must not see me. I can see it. I now stand up, and that's when I think the cat saw me. It was staring at me as I was staring at it. I could hear footsteps, softly, slowly, walking up behind me, and I wagged my tail to let Dad know I knew he was coming. He slowly eased his head around the curtain, and he saw my giant gray cat. He backed up really quiet and told me to stay. I didn't say a word as he very quietly put his shoes on and gently went out the back door. The cat turned to the side and continued to walk slowly towards the house and my window. It was very close, and suddenly I realized my cat wasn't a cat. It was a coyote, the one I had run into. It had come back. Mom and Joe slowly came to the window and looked out into the evening light, trying to see what was going on. Immediately, I started barking while I was hitting at the window with my feet. The coyote stared at me but continued its walk. It didn't care. This made me very angry. I was barking so hard spit was flying out of my mouth while I was digging at the soft floor trying to do something, anything, to get out to help Dad. Dad came running around the corner of the house by the shed with some pieces of wood in his arms. He started yelling and throwing the wood as he chased the coyote, taking it completely by surprise. It turned to the woods and ran away so fast I couldn't hardly see it run. It was more like a blur. Dad continued his running and shouting after it, and all I could do was stand in the window and bark. I watched Dad run to the edge of the yard and then pick up the pieces of wood he had thrown and walk back and toss them on the wood pile. Dad, you should have let me come out with you. I can run faster than you, and I would have chased it further into the woods. I'm not afraid. I would have helped, I thought as I watched him turn the corner of the house. He was so brave to go out alone like that, and if he has the courage to do that, I need to start being more on top of this. I shouldn't want the rooster or the dogs on the farm next door to walk around with me. I should do it myself. The next morning, Dad and Mom put the little stinky balls out again. This time, Mom put more in the containers. They were talking about how it was getting braver, so our defense system needed to be getting stronger. I trotted around the route I remember the coyote took in our yard, and I did some thinking. I saw it go in the brush right around here, so this is where I'm going to start tracking to see where it went next. I need to know more. I won't kid you, I was scared. Dad wasn't paying any attention to me, so I guess he figured daylight we were free to do as we normally would. Well, I'm out to know more. I trailed the scent into the brush. It was moving fast, I could tell, because the scent from where it had all the feet on the ground to where it was on the ground again was a pretty long stride. Where there was no scent, I figured it was in the air between steps. Eventually it stopped running and slowed to a walk. I just passed one of Dad's pieces of wood and could smell Dad and the coyote on it. Dad must have actually hit the coyote with it. That's amazing. The scent trail wound around some trees by a massive wild grapevine. I stopped and sat in the little room it made where the vine had tangled itself in the bushes. I smelled the ceiling of my watchtower, and there was no scent there, not even a mouse or wild grape smell. I smelled around the walls, and even where the walls met the ground, it was clean of any animal scent. This is odd. No one has claimed this. I think this room would definitely be mine if it were closer to home. I really like this structure. I lay down in it and rest while looking around at how nicely I could be hidden in here. I lay for a while and watched the forest outside my door. I can see absolutely nothing wrong in my surroundings, so I start to walk towards home. I'm sure my family must be worried. I've been gone for so long. I could hear brush crackling along the path I was walking, but I didn't pay any attention to it. It was most likely a deer. I don't see many of them this time of the year, so that would have been pretty neat to see. It was odd, though. When I stopped walking, whatever was following me would stop too. I kept looking towards where the noise was coming from, but I couldn't see anything. I felt like maybe I might be in danger, but not really, so I didn't run. Maybe I should have run, but it was such a pretty afternoon, I didn't want to hurry. The closer I got to home, the slower the animal following me moved. Finally, it just stopped. I didn't see anything wrong around me. I kept looking and smelling, but I didn't see anything wrong, so I wasn't worried. When I strolled into my yard, my family wasn't there. All the vehicles were, and when I smelt the doorways to the house, there was no new scent, so they were out somewhere on our farm. The chickens were just casually pecking around, so I trotted over to the barn. The cats that were still living by us were all stretched out near each other in the sun shining through the open doorway. It smelled good in here. Clean hay and little cow. Smells were everywhere. Next to their food dish, I could smell the grain they were fed and the sweet stuff that was mixed with it. Where do you suppose my family is? I continued to trot and look around to see what was going on. Were they possibly in the quad? I didn't check on that, so I trotted back to where it is usually parked. It was there. I stood and looked around. I could see all the leaves that had fallen were now turning into dirt color. Some leaves were still on the tree, and there were still lots falling. I looked up into the tree above me, and it was so pretty. The leaves started falling real fast all of a sudden, and I was in the middle of a leaf storm. This is so much fun, so I started jumping up to try to catch the leaves as they fell. I caught a couple, but it was more fun to run around in a circle in the shower of leaves. My home was quiet. My lawn was quiet. The barnyard was quiet. It was strange. My family had simply disappeared. The only sound I could hear was the bugs, a few birds, and the leaves hitting the ground. I continued to walk around, wondering where my family had went to. Why couldn't I hear from them? Why didn't I hear their voices? The rooster and all the young roosters were having some kind of meeting by the chicken coop, and all turned to look at me. What is that rooster teaching the young ones, I wonder? I think whatever they are discussing is most likely me. I casually stride to the corner of the house, trying to look calm and not worried. That didn't work because I could hear all those chicken feet pounding the ground as they ran towards me. I started running as fast as I could get speed up to the bottom of the shed, and there was another group of young roosters laying in ambush of me. I couldn't believe how they had organized to terrorize me, and it was working. I have never been so scared. I tried to swerve to avoid them, but I had so much speed built up, I just charged right through them. It did make me sort of laugh to see the young ones jumping and squawking to get out of the way. I think I may actually have run into a couple because I remember feeling myself hit some bodies. After I burst through their little group, I charged on the driveway and ran right into my family walking up the driveway. I have never been so happy to see my humans in my life. They were just as excited to see me, too. They had been walking around trying to find me, and I told myself I would not ever worry them like this again. It had been scary with our home so quiet and empty, nobody around, not knowing where they were. From now on, I'm staying by my people. It is cold tonight. I curled up in a ball on the soft floor where the big windows are while my family slept. I lay and looked out the windows into the dark night and looked at the stars falling from the sky. It is so pretty to see all those white stars falling. Some of them were even softly touching the glass on the windows right next to my nose. It is peaceful, and I am warm, and my family is safe and sleeping. When I touch my nose to the glass, my breath fogs it up, blocking my view of the falling stars. I go lie on my soft pillow in front of the fireplace. This time of the year we are in now is the hardest to survive outside. It is fun to slide down the hills, but so cold too. When I wake back up, the sky is light, and I can see the ground is now white and not covered with leaves. Stepping out into the cold morning, it feels amazing. Dad goes with me to check on the chickens, but he leaves them indoors today. Next, we walk down to the barn and open the door for Cow and Little Cow. Our breath makes little white clouds as we walk along, looking at the snow-covered trees. It is so warm here in the barn. The cat family is all snuggled up in the hay and lift their heads up to look at us as we walk in. Dad blocks the door open and pours fresh water into the tank for the cows to drink. He also checks on everything down here, and it all seems to be fine. Nothing new, nothing strange. It's all the same. There are no new footprints in the snow, so we have had no visitors during the night. And that's the end of our chapter. I hope you enjoyed this chapter. If you did, please think about subscribing to my channel and click the notification bell so you will be notified the next time I post a video. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.